Fuerteventura, an island which literally has strong wind in its name. Gnarly rocks, big waves, but also fine sand and turquoise flat water. Today we're going to find out if Fuerteventura is actually Europe's best spot for windsurfing and all kinds of water sports, so lean back and discover this place with us. Big thanks to Sun and Fun, a water sports specialized travel agency, for sponsoring this video.
As most of you guys probably know, the Canaries are a chain of islands in the Atlantic Ocean just off the African coast.
And this is where we are right now. It's the central hub for water sport on this island, which is why we will focus the spot guide on this region, but we don't want to leave the north unmentioned. Ein Kaffee am Morgen vertreibt Kummer und Sorgen, würde ich sagen. First the coffee and then the spots.
Refueling Nico.
It's not that bad, I'm joking. I'm not a coffee junkie. I like coffee, but I survive without coffee.
I don't know. I think you're not working without.
To the place I belong.
In the northwest of the island, there are a bunch of surfing and wave windsurfing spots, which can deliver insane wave conditions. The most popular ones are Punta Blanca, Majanicho and Merillones, and they are located between El Cotillo and Corralejo.
These are really expert level spots. You park on the rocks, you rig on the rocks, and you enter into the water from the rocks, but I'm not doing that today because I didn't bring my wave gear, and with my carbon fin, don't want to risk it. And there is no infrastructure around, let alone a windsurfing center, so you're all by yourself. But when the waves are on, the conditions here can be insane. I remember some footage of Thomas Traversa ripping apart over mast high clean waves on one of these spots. This right here is Punta Blanca, especially in northeast wind. You get side onshore from the right, you get some ramps out there. The guys behind me are having fun, and well, you just have to consider that you have to walk through the rocks.
To score the really good and big days, you definitely gotta be lucky or come here spontaneously on a good forecast. But we've been told that the best wind direction is actually not the typical northeast trade winds from the right, but when the wind blows side offshore from the south or southwest.
So these spots here are really kind of advanced, but the more we get to the east of the island, the more friendly the spots will be. So I'd say, let's go there.
This is where it finally starts getting sandy. There are a couple of spots just southeast of Corralejo. Flag Beach and Glass Beach are stretching along a beautiful road through the sand dunes.
The beaches here, guys, are just beautiful and even enjoyable for anyone who's not looking to get into the ocean. You park right next to the street in the sand dunes, and then you rig in the sand and you walk about 150 meters down to the water.
The beach and the entrance into the water are mostly sandy, but as you can see, you have to look out for some rocks here and there.
Flag Beach is quite spacious, which is crucial because it can easily get quite busy here. Often with a lot of kite surfers and wingers, sometimes also some windsurfers. This spot doesn't get so windy, and it's kind of sheltered, so it's not so wavy here, the entrance, because of the island Lobos on the other side. So yeah, getting in the water quite easy. Fully sandy, a few rocks here and there, but you can see them when going out, so that's not a big deal usually. On the other hand, Glass Beach further down is not as protected, and the waves can get quite gnarly. So this is a place where a lot of surfers go, and under the wave there are actually rocks while the beach is sandy. When you come out here to Flag Beach for the day, you better bring your lunch because there is not a lot of infrastructure around here.
But before we move to the south, there's one more spot up here.
Waikiki is a spot named after the beach bar Waikiki, where we are right now. We just learned that you can only enter from the ramp, so take care of that. It's the only free ride spot here because it's protected by the harbor and the island on the other side. So yeah, perfect flat water free ride conditions.
So this spot is a great option here in the north because you're right in the city. And this is exactly why this spot has one major downside.
You only basically have this one street to park, and how far you have to carry your gear depends a bit on your luck of getting a parking spot. Kinda annoying.
The island stretches quite far from north to south, so the drive to the next spot takes about an hour and a half. On the way down there are a few spots along the coast, such as Puerto Lajas, which are mainly popular among wave riders. Yeah, so the south looks a bit like a moon landscape. The wind wraps around the mountains in the north of the island and gets channeled through the flat spot between mountains in the north and in the south.
And this is where it's all happening. We're here in Soto Vento beach at the René Egli Center. René Egli discovered this spot in 1984 and made it one of the most popular windsurfing spots in the world. So let's find out why it became just that.
The wind statistics here are just mind-blowing, with on average up to 95% of the days being more windy than 7 knots in July and 62% in the worst month, which is December. This place has a very high chance of planing or foiling wind all year round. But what about everything besides the water action? How do you get here? How do you move around? And where do you stay? You can of course come with your car by ferry from Cadiz or Huelva. But besides having to drive to the south of Spain, this trip takes you almost 2 days and it's not very cheap. So in most cases, flying makes more sense. The Canary Islands are connected with most major airports in Europe and prices vary generally from 200 to 500 euro round trip. And with some holiday airlines you can even take your gear with you for a surcharge. If you stay in a hotel you can of course get an airport transfer, but you'll be stuck in the hotel, so I highly recommend getting a rental car. They start from just 10 euros a day or so it's really not that expensive and you have the possibility to see more of the island. The south is very touristic, so there are tons of possibilities for your accommodation. The coast from Costa Calma down to Gandia offers plenty of options.
But I personally always look for the best and most convenient option, and that's, guys, where Sun and Fun comes into play, because they're not only sponsoring today's video, but they also have the perfect website to book your next holiday to Fuerteventura or any other windsurf, wing or kite spot. They work directly with the airlines, the windsurfing centers like here, René Egli, and the hotels like the Melia. They get the best deals and they pass it on straight to you. And it's so hassle-free. You book everything online, all in one platform, the hotel, the rental, the flight, and you have a direct line to someone who takes care of you. Their water sports experts hand-selected all the locations they offer, and you'll be speaking to people who are like us, water sports enthusiasts. Super cool of them to sponsor this guide. Unfortunately, the website is only in German, as they only offer trips starting from Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Northern Italy and Netherlands. But anyway, if that's you, be sure to book your next holiday with Sun and Fun. The link is down below in the description.
So here in Fuerteventura, the most convenient option is staying right at the windsurfing center. There are 2 hotels in walking distance and with a nice view right onto the spot. The Melia is a big hotel with a pool, decent rooms, breakfast and dinner buffets. Here you really maximize your water time. And then there's the Inside by Melia right next door, which is where I stayed during the PWA World Cup here. This one is a bit more on the higher end, offers a very relaxed atmosphere, and the terrace is protected from the wind. Definitely my choice for here, and of course can be booked with Sun and Fun.
The René Egli Center is equipped with all the gear you might need, and they offer lessons for every level, and the windsurfing spot is just marvelous. But guys, let's get back to the important part, the windsurfing! turquoise water, speed pist, fine sand. What else do you want? I mean, sure, it is a bit choppy out there, but it's definitely amateur friendly on most of the days. And you know, the wind is a bit offshore, that's tricky, but they do have jet skis, so in case you drift away, they always bring you back, so you feel super safe here. And when the stars align, quite literally, a bit further downwind, there's a lagoon forming, and that's just perfect for freestylers, beginners, and yeah, basically those who don't want to get into the deep water.
Just a few kilometers south on the same beach you'll find the next spot. In between the two spots you basically have a kilometer-long windsurfing paradise with just sand and turquoise water. Risco Del Paso doesn't quite have the infrastructure like further up the beach, but you do find a rental center and a bar.
And this is the spot where the lagoon starts forming, which stretches all the way over to the Rene Igli Center. It's a massive lagoon, but you do have to take care because it's not always that deep. And the coast here makes a kink around the corner, which forms quite some nice waves for wave riding. And it's super easy to get into wave riding here because there are no rocks around. And if the waves do get too big, you can still go into the lagoon. The parking is not that far away. It's a short walk to the lagoon. If there's no lagoon, okay, the walk is a bit further, but all in all, pretty nice spot.
Lastly, and most south in the list of our spots, you have Playa Gandia. This is another kilometer-long sand beach which is dominated by tourists and also by surfers. One of the spots on Playa Gandia is Esquinzo. The wind here doesn't get as strong as further up the coast.
The wind here is also offshore, so it's the safest to start at one of the water sports centers. These centers are usually connected with a hotel, and the whole landscape here is dominated by hotels. It's hard to get access to the beach, so if you want to windsurf here, best is to kind of book the comfort package, maybe with the Robinson Club, which is also bookable at Sun & Fun, of course. So there you go, an almost complete overview of the windsurfing possibilities on this island. But in the end, we still have one question to answer. Is this the best windsurfing spot in Europe?
Let's look at the pros. There's a lot of variety in the conditions. It's pretty warm and windy all year round. The connection via plane is pretty solid. There are a lot of different options of where you can stay. The beaches and hotels offer enough to do for the whole family. On the con side, there's actually not a lot to mention. You can't really drive here with your car and bring your own gear. Bringing your own gear with a plane can be a hassle. It does get pretty dusty here, which can be annoying if you're staying too long.
So for sure one of the top spots in Europe. And I actually think maybe we should do a ranking list with all the spots I have already visited and still will visit. So let us know in the comments if you'd like to see a full ranking list of all the top spots, including points, and also let us know which spot we should visit next. I hope this video has been as insightful for you guys as it has been enjoyable for us to make. If you're not subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also turn the notification bell on. Leave us a like under the video if you did like it. Big thanks again to Sun and Fun for sponsoring this guide. Check the link in the description for your next holiday. And I would say I see you guys in the next video. Alter, ich krieg gleich nasse Füße, ich schwör's dir. I called it. I called it. Oh, would you look at that? There's a meth lab here. Good quality. Turquoise water, fine sand, a speed pist. What else do you want? Achtung, jetzt geht's richtig ab. Ich warne dich doch nur. Okay, nochmal. Geh ein Stück hoch, mich irritiert das. Nur so ein Stück, ja.